everybody, welcome to Board Game Breakfast. We're here again, once again, another week in December as we go farther in and further up. It is an exciting time. Obviously, Christmas is an exciting time of year. Lots of things going on. Lots of things going on at the Dice Tower, of course. If you haven't heard, our video editor, Derek Porter, is leaving, and we're very sorry to see him go. But we have got Roy Canaday is going to be coming on and taking his spot, and that transition will take place over January. Our Kickstarter is coming up, of course, and that will be at the end of, or in the middle of January, that we'll be launching that. So we'll talk more about that as time gets closer, but we are working on that now. We got live stuff. Okay, so we're now starting our end of 2018 retrospective. We've already done our top 10 games of 18, our top 10 surprises. This week, I'll be going through a lot more of that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Live Q&A, of course, today, as always, at 10 a.m. And I guess, other than that, we need to get started. So let's go to the news. Okay, so first in the news, we have some more Star Wars Destiny coming out. This actually surprised me because I was wondering if this would go away. You know, Fantasy Flight has so many different irons in the fire that I wouldn't be surprised to see one kind of just fade off the scene. But Star Wars Destiny, new starter packs for Obi-Wan Kenobi and General Grievous. WizKids has announced Chio's Secret. Now, this is a social deduction game. I know, yawn, there's a million of them. But this one's interesting because there's like a pair of lovers, and they're running away or whatever. And different players are hunting them down, some to catch them in so they can be executed, some to turn them into other people for financial gain. It doesn't seem like a very pleasant bunch of people who are chasing you. I thought the theme was interesting. More stuff for Descent. Speaking of Fantasy Flight, some more free things will be added to the app. So go figure. I wonder if my Descent 3rd edition prediction will come true. We'll find out. 2 more expansions for Thunderstone Quest. Ripples in Time. And at Foundation of the World. Each of these will have 243 cards in them. So if you like Thunderstone Quest, which I do, you'll be glad for more of this. Atlas has announced God's Forge. Not only does it have a really cool cover, but this one sounds really interesting to me. It's using dice and cards to fight people, but you're making Yahtzee-style combinations and cards to go up against the other players. Sounds intriguing. I mean, granted, it's a bunch of mechanisms. I already know what they are, but I don't know. I think the concept of this sounds really good. And there's an expansion for Space Base inside of Shy Pluto. Yay for Pluto. This is the first of a series that are going to add some story elements to Space Base. Whatever. I don't care about any of that. I'm just excited about more stuff for Space Base. I really like Space Base. All right. Well, that's the regular news. Let's jump into Kickstarter.
Hello, fellow gamers. I hope you guys are having an amazing holiday season as Kickstarter has finally started slowing down for the year. So I had to very enthusiastically go through and comb through the desert of Kickstarter. And I think I found a few noteworthy things to mention, as well as definitely some really cool stuff in that reprint sort of category there. They're not quite reprints, but I think they're really interesting. You should like them. So let's get started for the week. Featured this week, we have Valda by Bananan Games. This is for 2 to 5 Viking war chiefs wanting to achieve godhood by harvesting resources, exploring the world, and building temples, gaining you the power of the gods and valuable followers for about 30 minutes per player. Now, this fight to get you to the top of the world tree will cost you $56, heavy card management skills, and the cunning of Loki. But if the chance of going to Valhalla just isn't for you, then we also have Terminus Breach by Matt Lloyd. This is a tower defense game for 1 to 4 generals looking to defend the kingdom by building and upgrading towers to take down a 15-wave onslaught of monsters knocking at your door. Now, this modular board game will cost $49 and does scale up in difficulty as things like dragon bosses make their way to the table for about 60 to 180 minutes. Next up, we have Dized, which isn't a game, but it is an app that you can get on your phone that will stop all rules loiterers with the simple push of a button, as rules for games are interactive and eloquently told to you as you all get super friendly and huddle around your friend's phone. Now, Dized does come with a monthly charge, but they're running a Kickstarter because they don't have enough resources to compile a large amount of games that you guys want on the app. So a starting pledge for this will cost you $4, but it will also double as a monthly subscription credit. And they also have some really sweet promos available with other pledge levels. Now for reprints and expansions. It looks like Blood Rage is going digital, and late pledges for this start at $15, but that's not even the cool part of all this, because during the campaign, they're also offering new minis for your board game with tons of Kickstarter exclusives, like the Golden Gods of Asgard. Then we have Ogre Battlefields, which is offering all new maps, counters, and units for $60, including one of my favorite pieces, which is the Ogre Dry Erase cards, which are a must-have for this game in my book. Lastly, we have Blitz Zone and Blitz Roll. So if you're a huge fan of Blood Bowl like I am, then you're really going to like this, because you can consolidate all of your Blood Bowl items into one easy-to-carry case, which is perfect for carrying your gear to tournaments for $112. Or you can even trick out your entire game stadium with seating and a dice tower, which is just ridiculously cool looking, and it's meticulous with all of the details that they've added to this for tracking weather conditions and points and such. Thanks so much for joining me this week, guys. If you want to know more about the Kickstarters I mentioned today, you can check me out on Fridays at gloryhound.com, where we talk about everything in depth, and you can join in on the conversation, which is my favorite part because you guys get to talk about what you like and your opinions about the game. So I hope everybody has a super safe and happy holiday, and I will see you guys all next week.
Imagine this, 250,000 Germans are coming for your city, the city of Stalingrad, and what do? The Germans called this battle Rattenkrieg, the Rat War. Why? Because it was fought in rubble from destroyed buildings and also in the sewers. So you could think of this as a dungeon crawl. So like a Dungeons and Dragons type of thing, once you're in the sewers, you're gonna meet a monster like this. But in these sewers, you're gonna meet a monster like this. What's worse, the soldier or the monster? Well, you're gonna say the monster. Yeah, okay. The soldier just had his town burnt down by the Germans and they killed his babushka. So, you know what? Give me the green guy. Stalingrad Inferno on the Volga is a game about the battle for Stalingrad, which was brutal, and this is a strategic war. This is a block war game, which is a solo game, a 2-player game, and a 3-player game. What's great about this game is that the blocks create fog of war. You don't know the pieces that are coming towards you from the opponent, and vice versa. Until it's time for battle, then you both each divulge the pieces, and you fight with what you got. Oh look, he's got 27 tanks. What do you have? 3 guys with a gun. This is a card-assisted game, and some of these cards are, for example, if you draw the Palace card, the Germans now double the number of German cards, and you're gonna say, ha! We just won the war. Well, not so fast. The Russians have their card. The Chukov card performs Opportunity Fire. What's Opportunity Fire? Well, your opponent gets to shoot first when you attack. So what you get with Stalingrad Inferno on the Volga are 55 special event cards, a highly detailed map of the city, over 90 combat units, and a lot more. This game offers a lot more than what I've shown you here in this short amount of time. Stalingrad Inferno on the Volga is a game designed by Emanuele Sant'Andrea. The artwork is by Emanuele Sant'Andrea. This is a game published by Vento Nuovo Games. Check them out, ventonuovo.net. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen the Board Game Librarian, doing my usual, flipping some pages, pushing some cubes, with this week's segment from the page to the table. So we're going to have an interesting segment this week because I played the game first and then read the first book. So I'm not sure which one to start with, but I guess I'll start with The Reckoners. Oh boy, what an experience. I think this might be my favorite game of the year, and I'll tell you why. Because there have been very few cases when I've played the board game first and then read the book. It's almost unheard of for me. I love The Reckoners. It's 1 to 6 players, variable amount of time depending on how quickly you win, likely not winning, or you're defeated. Really super. That's gonna happen. So my husband had played this with friends of ours, and he said to me, Jen, This is the superhero game that I've been waiting for. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty high praise. And then he finagled a copy of this from another friend of ours, and it's the metal Kickstarter version. So we had the metal steel heart and all the upgraded bits. And this is another rarity. We played it on my day off, and after we played, I said, let's play it again. And then after the second time, let's play it again. We played it 3 times in one day. It was 6 hours of my life, just gonzo. It's got this really, everything about this game is just amazing to me. I think it has a lot of theme. It has the characters in the game, which are in the book. One in particular, and I won't spoil, is both a hero and a villain. The book is equally as good, and I think it's my game of the year. All right, that's all for this week. Happy breakfast.
So what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? Well, we're going to do some live stuff, like I said. Today, I'll be doing a live Q&A, and we're also going to be doing Jason's top 10 of 2018. He's going to come and do that live. And in fact, we're going to be doing a lot of live stuff. I'm working on making more of these live things because it's a way to interact with you. So each day this week, I'll be doing something live. So yes, today I'm doing the live Q&A and Jason's top 10. Tomorrow, I'm doing my top 100 games of 2018. Just so you can see where that stands, because I think there's that many good games. People tell me 2018 wasn't that great of a year. I beg to differ. And I'll also be talking about my top 10 expansions of the year. Both of those videos will go up tomorrow. And then as the week goes by, you'll see various top 10s of me from Monday through Friday. But also reviews. Vindication, Nemesis, King's Guild, The Quacks of Quedlinburg. So a lot of cool games we'll be talking about this week. Can't fit them all in one week. You're going to have to see some of the reviews have been pushed into next week and so, but I'm looking forward to that. Of course, stuff from Sam and Z. You'll also see another podcast going up this week from Mandy and Suzanne. And of course, lots of other great podcasts on the Dice Tower Network, all of which you can find at dicetowernetwork.com.
Happy breakfast, everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about a few games that I think are going to go down really well over Christmas this year for me, be it with friends or family. Dexterity-wise, I'm going to go for Catch the Moon. Last year, Junk Art went down really well, and Catch the Moon this year is all about a game where you're balancing ladders, you're rolling a dice to know how you've got to balance it. It's very short, very quick, but good fun. And I think it's about 2 to 6 players, so it's got quite a good range. I played it as maximum 4, and that worked really quick around the table. Really good fun for dexterity. The next one, for trivia-based stuff, because that always happens towards Christmas, it's still got to be Wits and Wagers. Now, the deck in the sort of the original box, I've not gone all the way through, so it's perfect to just get it off the shelf again this year and play. But I believe there's expansions and stuff if I'd gone through all of them. It's just a fun way that it doesn't matter if you know the answer, if you know who might know the answer, because you can bid on them being right. Lastly, to take over the role of the old Pictionary style games is Doodle Rush. You're still doing doodles or doing drawings for what things say on cards. You can't get angry at that teammate because you're the one drawing it. So therefore, the only person to get annoyed at is yourself if it's bad and no one's guessing it. You've also got to guess what other people have done. So it's kind of all on you to guess and draw through the rounds. But it works because you're not sort of stuck with one other person that half the time it ends up sort of an argument somewhere along the line. Anyway, that's a few different games for you guys to try out over the Christmas period. They're ones that will definitely be hitting my table, along with hopefully a fair few others. But for now, I'm Oliver East, signing out.
Two brothers set loose in a thrift store. This is Thrift Store Throwbacks.
Man, you see my other drumstick? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Dude, I'm trying to get ready to rock out. What are you up to?
Get ready for Flying Ace, dude.
Oh, that's a game Matthew Jude loves, right? Because he's always like, oh man, it's Ace.
Yeah, you told us about this one. He's like, oh, it's Ice.
Everything's based off of how good this game is. It's how Ace his life is.
Yeah, how Ace's life is. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting ready for, because he's like always on top of the the red.
You know what's crazy is like how much the British love Charles Schultz.
I know, but he created the Empire of Britain,
Right, and the first thing they said when they got created was like, oh man, this is Ace.
St. Paul is Ice.
I'm so glad we live now.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. So
Okay,
yeah,
makes sense. No, I'm gonna rock out. 5 minutes.
Alright, this is the Flying Ace Snoopy thing game. What you're going to do on your turn is you're going to spin this thingy around, and then you're going to start flipping over cards. You start flipping over cards, you're looking for a match. Oh, no match yet. No match yet. Oh, God. Oh, it's a match. Oh, no. Oh, look, cool, a match. I match one. That means I get to put my token there, and you're going to keep on going, and hopefully you get another match. Oh, my gosh, cool. Cool, I got another one, so I can put one on Charlie Brown now. Da-da-da-da-da. And then once this stops spinning, if it stops on a spot that has one of your tokens, you win. If it spots on a spot where it doesn't have a token, you do it again until somebody wins. Yay.
So that was
Flying Ace.
right. Okay, so you see what this game is. There's nothing to.
I mean, good. Come on. If you were 5, which
Yeah.
is 4 and up, you would love this game.
Yeah, it's
For
a
sure.
great matching game. It's fantastic.
sure.
So while we have you here, we just want to thank you all for putting up with our shenanigans in our top 100.
Yeah.
It's been going on. It's finishing up now. So
Yep.
please.
10 ones coming out today, so
Yeah, give your thoughts on those below.
Yes,
and
please
thanks for
go
putting up with
watch
all the green screen shenanigans. I know we threw a bunch of wacky stuff back. No, not right now. And we want to give an extra special shout out to Matthew Jude for real.
Yes.
Talking about people being ace. He made 100 cameos in our top 100 and really brought the whole thing together. So Matthew
Yes, he
Jude,
did.
sincerely our podcasting brother, thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you everyone who's watched it and said all the nice things, all the people who said bad things. Thanks too. That's fine.
You aren't wrong. Our lists are questionable.
If you've enjoyed what you watch anytime, make sure to go to our YouTube and subscribe, follow us on Twitch, all that kind of stuff. You know what to do. Thank you all so much. And until next time.
We'll see you not in another part of a top 100. I'm exhausted.
I know. See you there.
Flying ice.
Hello everyone, my name is Annette, and you may know me as Netters Plays. And today on Applied Mechanics, I'm going to go over the game of Railroad Inc. So this is a roll and write game where you're trying to draw different types of routes, like roads and tracks. So let me show you a little bit about this game and why I really like it. Based on what was rolled, all players will have to draw those 4 different routes onto their map. Every dice will have a variation of roads as well as train tracks. Some will even have both where they don't connect, but they'll cross through each other, and others will have stations where they will connect. There's a few exits along the sides, and some of them are train tracks while others are roads. There's only a few rules to follow when drawing your routes. A route that's drawn must be connected to one of the exits or a pre-existing road. A road cannot be connected to a track unless there's a station that can connect the two. The top of the player board will also hide the maps from other players, and there's 6 different special routes that players can use throughout the game. The only limit is that you can use 1 route per round and up to 3 different routes throughout the game. At the end of 7 rounds, your board might look like this. One of the first things you'll score is how many different networks will connect the exits together. In this example, you have one major network here connecting several exits and another network here connecting others. You'll also score your longest road along with the longest railway. You'll also get bonus points if you filled out any tracks or railways in the center of the board. Any roads or tracks that led to nowhere are counted as errors. You add up your points and subtract your errors, and the person with the highest points wins. I only taught you the rules to the base game, but Railroad Inc. the Blue Edition also comes with expansions, like the lake and the river, while the Red Edition comes with meteors and lava. So this is a pretty casual type of roll and write, where all players are drawing the same results based on what was rolled. What I like is that everyone usually draws a different type of map, even though we're all following the same rules and the same dice to draw. Not only is it easy to introduce and play, but you also get expansions with the game, and this easily changes up the type of game that you're playing. And that's why I really like Railroad Inc. Well, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Mike Delisio from Solomode Games. This week something happened that got my attention, and it also got the attention of one of our Board Game Breakfast watchers. He made a comment on last week's segment about it. I'm going to try his name here, and I apologize if I butcher it. Andres Montañez Leras pointed out that on Board Game Geek, which I think most of us can agree is the preeminent board gaming site on the internet, this week the One Player Guild became the guild with the largest membership on the entire site. This is a guild that's dedicated to solo gaming. The thing that's a little bit awkward about this, I suppose, is that the guild that it overtook to get that top spot is the Dice Tower Guild. Now, how important is this? How much should we take note of it? I don't know. I'm a proud member of both guilds, the Dice Tower Guild and the One Player Guild. But I do think that it does point to the fact that solo gaming is maybe becoming more part of the mainstream within this admittedly niche hobby that we all enjoy. I've mentioned in the past how you're seeing different things that point to this, whether it's the number of Kickstarters that have solo variants included, or the number of games just out on the retail shelf that seem to be catering more to solo gaming. This is, I think, yet another data point to kind of put into the mix to determine that solo gaming is becoming a bigger part of this hobby. So, do we think that this one-player guild becoming the largest membership guild on Board Game Geek is of note? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about it. Thank you so much for your time as always, and have a great day.
Every year I make predictions for that year, and those predictions sometimes come true. We'll see how good I did this year. So in January I made some predictions for the year 2018, 10 of them. They're based on gut instinct, guessing, sometimes maybe a little bit of stuff I know, but we'll see. Here we go. Let's see how I did on them. Number one, I said there would be a major acquisition in 2018 that would rival Asmodee buying Fantasy Flight. I think this one, I came close to getting it right because Asmodee did buy out Mayfair completely and Lookout Games and dissolved them. But I'm only giving myself a half point here because I do not think that this is quite as big as them getting Fantasy Flight. Actually, not much at all. I mean, it is big news, I guess, to see Mayfair going away is what it is. I mean, I know that Indie Boards and Cards and Stronghold merged, but that's not as big, not even close as Asmodee and Fantasy Flight. My second prediction, I said that Board Game Geek would finish their graphic overlay. If you go to Board Game Geek, they have one set of graphics for their main site, and then they have one for the games. And I said this would be the year it would finally be unified. This was the year that they finished their pictures. Not for better, in my opinion, but whatever. They changed the pictures, but that's it. I was wrong on this one. Still not, I don't know when the site will be finished, but I'm not even going to make that prediction next year. I said that PAX Unplugged would increase by 50%. Probably should have been clear of what I meant by 50% because it increased way more than 50% when it came to exhibitors and size, but not attendees, I don't think. They haven't released their numbers yet that I know of, but from what I understand, it's more like 20-25%. But the exhibitors went up, so I'm giving myself half point here. I said that 3 of the top 5 games of 2018 would be Kickstarter games. That Kickstarter is coming into its own. Well, I was right on this one. 4 of the top 5. In fact, here is the top 5 as of when me putting this together. Brass, Rising Sun, Root, Everdell, and Decrypto. Of those 5, the number 5 one, Decrypto, was not a Kickstarter. The other 4 were. Brass Birmingham, Rising Sun, Root, and Everdell. Very, very popular games, all of them. And Kickstarter's kind of ruling the roost in that regard. I said that a year later, Gloomhaven would still be the number 1 ranked game on Board Game Geek. And lo and behold, it is. Huzzah! Again, I think this flies in the face of people who said it was a flash in a pan. I'm sure it will be dethroned at some point. Everything is. But it's going to stick around for a while. My number 6 prediction, I said Scythe would be in the top 5. I thought Scythe, especially with the addition of the new Rise for Fenris expansion, would shoot up. Well, it made it to number 7, but not in the top 5. Then I said there would be less than 5 major legacy games that would come out in 2018. That one definitely happened. We have Rise for Queensdale, and we have Betrayal Legacy. Those would be the only big ones that came out. I mean, there's Werewolf Legacy, and there might be a couple smaller ones. But Legacy is not as widespread as you think it might be. And again, I wasn't including campaign things like Rise for Fenris and stuff. That's just campaign. Those things are replayable. Then I said that 2018 would be the last year for Time Story modules. I'm going to call myself wrong on this one because we played the Time Story module, the Pirate one, and there was an advertisement for the next one. So that one has to be in the works. So, happily, more is coming. I said there would be a new IP, intellectual property, that we'd all be sick of, like Sherlock Holmes or Arkham Horror, and that would be used in everything. I don't think that's quite true. I mean, there are some IPs that I'm starting to get a little sick of, like Star Wars or even Robotech. There seems to be a lot of games using that, but nothing, Game of Thrones, there's nothing that I've seen just overwhelming. We're definitely seeing overwhelming mechanisms like roll and write. We're definitely seeing overwhelming themes. There's a lot of Viking and space games, but there's no IP that people are complaining that's been done to death. Maybe Marvel? That might be the closest, but I'm going to call myself wrong. It didn't seem like there was an overwhelming one. And then I said that Batman City Chronicles would be in the top 5 funded Kickstarter games of all time. That they're, I figured the Monolith, how well Conan did, and then Batman, that it would do that well. Well, there's no question that the campaign did exceptionally well. But from what I can tell, it's actually number 6 right now. It didn't crack the top 5. I almost said it was going to be number 1 because, but yeah, it did very well. And, there's no complaints, I think, from anyone involved there. And I'm still looking forward to when it comes out and to play it. But there you go. So according to my thing here, I got 1, 2, 3, and then 2 halves. So 4 out of 10. Not a very good year of predictions, but we'll see. I'll try it again this coming year, and we'll see if I do better. Anyway, did you make predictions over 2018? Was there anything that you were surprised happened or didn't happen? Let us know in the comments below.
Happy holidays, everybody!
Happy holidays! We played so many games this year.
Oh, some amazing games, actually.
Yeah, and some of my favorite games were actually the games that my dad taught me this year. We wish you the best and happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody.
It's the holiday season, and Santa Claus has got a toy for every good girl and good little boy. Santa's a great big bundle of joy when it's coming down the chimney down. He'll have a big backpack upon his back, and lots of goodies for you and for me. So leave a peppermint stick for old Saint Nick hanging on the Christmas tree. It's the holiday season, so whoop-de-doo and hickory-dock, and don't forget to hang up your sock, 'cause just exactly at 12 o'clock he'll be coming down the chimney down. He'll have a big backpack up on his back, and lots of goodies for you and for me. So leave a peppermint stick for old Saint Nick hanging on a Christmas tree. It's the holiday season, so whoop-de-doo and hickory-dock, and don't forget to hang up your sock, 'cause just exactly at 12 o'clock he'll be coming down the chimney, coming down the chimney, coming down the chimney down. Happy holidays, happy holidays, while the merry bells keep ringing. Happy holidays to you.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, Prospero y Año Felicidad. Oh!
Hi, Suzanne here with this week's featured board game app. Digidice continues the Uwe Rosenberg love with the app version of Indian Summer, the second in his Polyomino puzzle series. Let's take a look. Indian Summer takes place on an autumn forest floor. Players place polyomino tiles trying to complete their board fully. If a hole on a tile overlays a board feature like a berry or nut, then a token matching that feature is placed on the board, and when that section of the board is fully filled in, then all the tokens in that section get claimed. And tokens can help you do things like get more pieces, fill in single spots, or even snag a piece from your opponent. There are also animal tiles that you can gain through clever hole placement, and overall the game is a race to be the first to complete your forest floor. Those familiar with Digidic's other app work, especially with things like Cottage Garden or Patchwork, well, you'll feel right at home with the Indian Summer app. Their normal feature set, including multiple AIs, online cross-platform asynchronous play, and an undo function, are all incorporated. And because there's really no secret info in the game, this one works especially well as a pass and play experience. There's an interactive tutorial included, but the rules link out to an online PDF. I really like the thumbnail preview of your opponent's boards that's always visible, and I think Digidice has done a good job in presenting the myriad of information like tokens and pieces in an efficient way. The user interface is intuitive and easy to use, and I play this frequently on my phone, and I think it does pretty well on that smaller screen, but of course everyone's eyesight differs. Indian Summer is a puzzly, tile-laying game that has some interesting choices to make as you go. Indian Summer as an app is a smooth experience. The small ambient animations are charming, the sound effects feel woodsy, and Digidice's usual quality is all in place here. I recommend you give it a try.
Welcome to this week's episode of Gaming with the People. We're the people, and the game is
Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective.
I'm Sherlock. You're Watson, right? Don't you think?
Actually, technically, neither of us are Sherlock.
Yeah, that's right. We're like the guy. We're not Watson either. We're like the
yeah.
Like the third string in this.
So, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. This is a story-driven mystery.
So fun.
So the way we play this is I'm the reader and she's the note taker.
Yes.
That's just how we divvy up the jobs. You can do it however you want to. That's how we do it. And well, there's a lot of great things about this.
I believe in London they'd call me the secretary because I take all the, or administrative assistant, but I take all the notes.
One of those things where it is awesome that you really could have any number of players you want to. You can play this solo. You can play with a room full of people as long as they were into it. And
I would not recommend a room full of people.
You know,
Turns out the more people you have, the more opinions you have.
Yeah.
And I have enough opinions for Dan and I.
Yeah. But the fun thing is, you know, you can race and try to solve the mystery and beat Sherlock Holmes, but there's all these little mysteries.
Mm-hmm. Like if you read the newspaper, you can get some extra points. At the end, they ask you some questions.
How much you're paying attention. And so part of me doesn't want to just race through it because I want to get all the story.
Yeah.
I want to get everything. And so we don't even really score. We just...
Yeah, we don't score anymore. 3 kids doing a review game.
The family show.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We don't score the game either. Scoring's out for us. The Kriegs are not scoring these days.
Howdy folks, welcome to By the Numbers. My name is Hunter Thomason from the Family Showdown. Each episode of By the Numbers, we take a look at a board game numeric related topic. This week's topic, hidden information in Victory Point games. I was recently at a friendly local board game retreat playing the new game Raccoon Tycoon with one Jason Levine. The game we were playing, Raccoon Tycoon, had open scoring. You could look at any person's tableau and know exactly what their score is. So this gave me my topic for my By the Numbers episode. How much hidden information do people want in their games? I find having some hidden information in games prevents me from that urge to calculate everyone's scores, because I'm curious. I want to know what everyone's score is, but I don't like completely open scoring, like there's a score track and you know exactly what everyone's score is. And at the end of the game, that's their score and there's nothing hidden. I want a little bit of mystery, a little bit of intrigue in my scoring. And I set up a poll asking people how much hidden information they want in games. Let's take a look at the handy dandy chart, and we see that most people want some hidden information, but not all hidden information or no hidden information. The winner was some hidden information, but mostly open scoring. And I agree with the results of the poll. I find that some hidden information quells the urge for me to calculate everyone's score around the table, because I can't know everyone's score because there's some information I don't know. As a side note, I beat Jason. See you next time.
Chris Renshaw here, and I would wager a good portion of the people watching this video at some point in their life has played Magic the Gathering. Nowadays, these are like the only cards I have left in my house. But one of the things that Magic the Gathering does really well is world building, especially if you read some of the various stories and pieces that go along with the cards. It really ties into the flavor text and everything. One of my favorite worlds that's come out is the story of Ravnica. Ravnica is a plane where the entire plane is a city, and it's constantly being fought over by these 10 different guilds. Now, Wizards of the Coast has taken that setting and brought it into D&D with the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. This is like Wizards perfectly taking one of their board game properties and their role-playing properties and smashing it together. So this book just came out recently. It's a really awesome book that's just filled with all sorts of stats and information for if you want to take one of these highly regarded Magic properties and throw your D&D game into that thing. Especially if you're looking for a D&D game that's not so much like deep down in the dungeon and punching and finding treasure. If you're wanting something with a little bit more political intrigue, as these guilds are constantly like plotting against each other, think like Game of Thronesy, but in a steampunk universe where there could be dragons as well. Well, I guess there's dragons in Game of Thrones too. It's got adventure hooks in there. It's got monsters that you may have seen from Magic cards. It's now got them here in the book with stats. It's also got information. So if you want to make, your highfalutin warrior who's in the Azorius Senate and everything, then you can. And it shows the background that they have and the spells that they may have that's unique to the Ravnica setting. So a lot of great stuff. If you've never heard of Ravnica and me talking about it does not intrigue you at all, not really a D&D book that you probably need to have, especially if you're wanting something more basic and mainstream. If you used to play Magic the Gathering, if you love some of the world building they've done there, especially if you like the setting Ravnica, then I would definitely check out this book and give it a tip if you want to try and throw your D&D game in this. What other Magic the Gathering settings would you like to see in D&D? Zendikar, Dominaria, etc.? Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure you follow me on all the different social media platforms, and check back next time as we're going to talk about another game that's a little bit more advanced that is great for getting your political intrigue on in your role-playing games. In the meantime though, may all your hits be crits.
Hello guys, it's Cardboard Rhino and welcome to one more Rhino Says Yes. Today's game feels super fresh and welcomes you to roll and write dice games, but without any dice. Just a paper, some cards, and a pencil. It's Welcome To. In Welcome To, you are an architect in the United States of the 50s and you want to build the best new town. The game plays like a roll and write game, but instead of dice, you flip cards from 3 decks with numbers from 1 to 15, each paired with one action that gives you a special effect. Each round, a new number and symbol is revealed, and players choose one pair and write the number at the door of one of the houses in their sheet, and can apply the effect of the action as well. You can also see what actions are coming up next. The numbers need to be placed in ascending order in each of the rows of their town. By making a park in the neighborhood, you increase the points you earn from the parks at the end of the game, and the pools work in a similar way, but you have to place them in a house that allows for a pool to be built. The roll block allows you to adjust the number flipped by plus or minus 1 or 2, which allows you to get the number you had missing, and the player with the most roadblocks gets this bonus, the second most the second, and so on. The bis gives you the option to use the same number more than once in the same line, but the more bis you use, the more points you subtract from your total score. You can also place fences between the houses, and that allows you to break the line into blocks. The blocks then give you points depending on the length, and by using the real estate action, you can increase their value. Also, everyone is racing to be the first to complete public goals that score you extra points. Last, we have the roundabouts that you can place at any point in the game, and they allow you to start anew with the numbering of the houses to the right, as if it was a new street. The game ends when one of the players filled all the 3 rows with the numbers, or when one of the players was not able to place any of the numbers available for 3 rounds. This game offers a big variety of strategies you can follow. The deck is completely randomized, so every game is different than the previous. Although it might sound like a solitaire activity for everyone playing, there is in fact lots of interaction and comments during the game. It feels like you're hanging out with your friends, filling in your lotto tickets together, but at the same time, you're managing a challenging puzzle. I think this can easily become your favorite filler game for your gaming nights and your new favorite addiction. And it's also the only game I've seen that you can play up to 100 players, so I guess it's also an opportunity to get to know your own neighbors better and invite them in for a game. So Rhino Says Yes to Welcome To, you should totally check it out.
Welcome to the Tantrum House After Party. Today we're looking at Reef from Next Move Games. We're talking about what we liked, what we hated, who won, and how.
Reef is an abstract strategy game where you're laying cards to place pieces onto your reef to score points.
So who won the game?
I won 52 points.
51 points.
I had 50 points, which I felt was pretty good because this was my very first time playing, and we didn't even go through all of the rules when we started. We kind of jumped in and I learned them as we went. So I felt like it was a pretty easy game to jump into for the very first time.
She didn't jump in. We threw her in to the water, the reef. She did a great job.
Yeah, the rule set is easy. I can see playing this with casual gamers, maybe my family at Thanksgiving or Christmas, because it really has simple rules.
I like that the cards don't have any text on them, so you can play this with younger kids as long as they can figure out the patterns that you need to score points with on the cards.
So something that actually don't like about the game are the pieces. They are super chunky. They're a little childish for me personally. The colors are bright, which could be good, could be bad. It could probably help people who are colorblind, but to me, I think they could have done something different.
I think what I would have liked about this, had they picked some slightly different colors that would have matched the artwork on the base board, like some teal blue colors or some other, instead of the primary colors. I think that's why you think they look like Duplos. I don't mind the shapes, but I think they could have made a little bit different choice on those.
Well, thanks for joining us. You can check out our playthrough of Reef on our channel as well, and be sure to subscribe to Tantrum House.
And that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Thanks so much for joining us today. I've had a fantastic couple weeks. We did Dice Tower retreats. They were both amazing. We will be doing more of that in 2019. We'll announce what we're doing and exactly when we're doing it in February itself. Well, I can tell you it's probably going to be in September timeframe, but I can't tell you enough good things about them. I'll talk more about that in the future. But either way, thanks so much for watching Board Game Breakfast. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and this is the Dice Tower.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at coolstuffinc.com.